ask a very clear question. The clarity of your question will help me give you an instant answer, and this will be probably a little easier for you. If I employ methodology, technology, concepts I haven't discussed before, which may happen, if time allows, I'll try to parenthetically explain what the dynamic going on is so you have a little bit of understanding. Okay, ask your question.
So, for a business that is going to grow, okay, so we are thinking I will need people to do certain technology things that I don't have adequate staff for that, and promotion and so on. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm starting from a place that I'm okay, comfortable, but don't have tons of money. How do I look at either hiring employees?
Okay, I got it. Your question is, how can I get resources I need when I have limited knowledge or limited amounts of money? First, you do joint ventures. We've got a panel, which I may or may not get to. It has 43 different things you can do with joint ventures, strategic alliances. You find someone else that has the piece of the puzzle you don't. You either give them compensation in the form of percentage of the increased sales, the reduction if it's savings. You give them a deferred income. If you can't afford them now, you trade them if you got something they want, or you can get something they want. You give them an equity in the future. You do something that is performance-based if you don't have money. If you don't know who you can trust and who you don't, you interview a lot of people and you ask a lot of really good questions and you listen to their answers and you get an incredible education so you can make really good discriminating choices. Next.
We're a small company, just a few of us. With the assessment that handed out, there was 39 things that I know we should be doing, all of them.
Oh, you guys got that. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Very. I mean,
so what's your question?
How do we get that done and our work?
Okay,
how do we run our business?
Question. Okay, the answer is very simple. Again, you joint venture. You find other people who can do that, and if you can figure out how to segregate, monetize, quantify the profit or the savings, you let them do it for you in terms of a profit center. One other thing I'm going to say, one of my very dear friends is one of the preeminent effectiveness coaches in the world. He says most people are so ineffective it's scary, and we think you don't have that time. You said that, but they're wasting 90% of their time. Chet's going to talk about that. I agree with him. You should look at the activities you've done for a month or two. He'll say that. You should break down the 3 most important activities your company pays you to do, even if you're a one-person company. You should break each activity into 3 or 4 or 5 processes. You should value rank your performance in those processes on 3 different criteria. One is relevance, one is passion, and one is relevance, passion, competence. If it's not relevant and you're doing it, it's dumb. Give it to somebody. You can pay $10 an hour or defer. If you're dispassionate about it, you're okay at it, you're working 5 times as hard, or give it to somebody else. If you're not competent at it, give it to somebody else and do what you need to do most strategically for the betterment of the business. Yes? Where? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see that line. Excuse me. You snuck up on me. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you. I am good at selling business to business.
Okay.
But then when the business doesn't sell to the customer.
Okay. So what should you do?
To the end, what should I do?
You should have turnkey programs that help the businesses sell to the customer. It's pretty self-explanatory. That'll be your distinguishing advantage. You go to them and say, anybody can sell you these products or services, but only I can give you turnkey systems to sell it through to your end result. And just do that.
Turnkey?
Turnkey means they don't have to do anything but take what you give them and apply it. Whether it's you give them sales training for their salespeople, you give them letters to send to their prospects or their accounts or their retailers or the distributors. You give them emails. You do it all for them. Does that make sense?
Okay. I do it for the business.
Yeah, you sell to the business who resells to the consumer.
Right.
But they aren't selling to the consumer. Right. So you're great at loading them up, but it's not selling through. Well, if it's not selling through and they don't know how to do it, but you just learned how to do it, doesn't it make sense that if you help them do it, they're not only going to sell more, but they're going to love you for helping them? Okay. Yes?
You very briefly mentioned automated referral systems 24/7. What are those, or where can we find the information to figure out what they are?
Well, there's 93 of them, so there are 93 different referral systems. First one is I'll give you the most, I don't have time in a 2-minute answer to give you a lot, but I'll give you 2 right now, and I don't want to do a aggrandizing promotion for myself. So I'll tell Chet, and he can tell you if he wants to, how to get more or not. Doesn't matter to me. Number one, the coolest, ballsiest, most powerful, and neatest thing you can do is make referral generation a condition of doing business. When you have the sale with somebody, you can say, look, our business has a choice. We can spend a lot of our time and money on marketing, on promotion, on other stuff to bring in new people, or we can take all that money, all that time, and invest it in value added, in support, in services, in technology, in research, in contribution to you. We've chosen to do that, so we have a condition of doing business with us, and it's going to sound a little crazy, but we have a policy of the things you should expect from us when you do business with us, and you list what they are, and you say, if, when, and after you are comfortable we've delivered that, if you want to continue doing business with us, which you should because we're going to do a lot more for you, you need to give us 2 like quality referrals every year, and if it's uncomfortable for you, or if you don't want to do it, it's fine, we just have to charge you a surcharge. That's the ballsiest. The other one is you just basically program in the beginning of the relationship, and you say that referrals are our livelihood. We love people like you because they appreciate what we do. They get the most out of it. We want you to be encouraged, and you reiterate it all the time. Even that is believe it out, so formidable. You do special programs and activities. You can have events where you encourage your clients to bring a friend, a colleague, a coworker, physically or digitally, online for a briefing, a conference at your place. I've had clients do parties at, business openings, theater openings. I mean, it's just infinite. But there is 93 different ways somewhere, but I don't want to self-promote, so I'll see if they want to tell you how to get it. Thank you.
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
We're doing quite a few of the tactics you talked about.
Good.
But after listening...
tactics without strategy, not
exactly.
smart.
And so what I'd like to know is what advice could you give everyone about where to start? Because there's so much information. Where if you had to recommend which would be one thing to start with, where would you...
Get clear on what your long-term strategy is. Reconcile whether the activities you're doing advance and enhance it or whether they're taking you tangential. Look at the things you're doing. Look outside your industry at other industries doing the same generic thing. In other words, you may be running ads, but what are you really doing? You're trying to target prospects. Depends on what's and see how many other people are doing it and ask yourself, would that be a more effective, more efficient, a more cost-effective, a more expedient way to do it? And question and get to know the performance of your activities. Also, if you can do it, analyze the different sources and the different types of buyers and look at them on a long-term plane. In other words, a lot of people run ads for leads or for buyers, or they do different selling things, and they never analyze the differing values. All buyers, all prospects aren't equal. Some convert a lot easier, some convert to different things, some buy many more times. Different sources being media or channels, different types of buyers are worth a lot more. You might accidentally, for example, find when you look that 25% of your buyers are doctors, but you've never gone to doctors. They just resonate more, and it will guide you. It'll guide you to where to go. There's a saying that says the data speaks. The more analytical, the more quantifiable, the more measurable, the more you analyze what your existing business, buyers, media is telling you, the more, I mean, it's like it really is that self-explanatory. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
We got into our space quite early, and we do 100% of our marketing is purchased internet leads or bid for click that we do.
Okay.
And over the last year, the amount that we have to purchase, there's the similar number of clients.
Hold it there when you're talking.
There's a similar number of clients available. We're having to do twice the work and spend twice on marketing that we used to do. What can we do to narrow that down?
I have almost a semi-universal answer for almost every question, and it applies almost everywhere. One time, a publication was interviewing me and said, you only have, because I got like 6 employees plus a colleague and I, and they said, well, what's your secret? What's your management style? I said, joint venturing. I find somebody else that's got a humongous overhead and needs to drive it but doesn't have good ideas and guidance, and I let them do all the work and share the profit with me. Joint venturing, I mean, there's so many. What's your product service?
Health and life insurance.
Health and life insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
99% is health. We just
are you licensed nationally?
Pretty much.
Well, gosh, first thing you do is I sold years ago. I had a client that was in guaranteed annuities before anyone else was, and he was selling it one-on-one, and we set up deals with investment newsletters and sold somewhere between 60 and 100 million in 3 months and if you can't legally share commission, you can set them up as an agent, or you can do reciprocal, or you can make it. There's all kinds of do joint ventures. Find people that already got huge access, credibility, pay them on results, not on, because you're paying for clicks, you're not paying for business. Don't pay for advertising. Whenever possible, shift it to where you're paying for tangible results. Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, Jay.
Yes.
Bob Wells. I'm in the real estate industry in the Philadelphia area.
Hi.
As many people, we want to grow our business over the next year or two by attracting top talent, particularly commission-only salespeople.
Okay.
Any ideas how we can reach those people?
Well, you obviously know who the high performers are, don't you, right now? You know, I've been talking about doing a big deal with Keller Williams because I like their model. I like some of the people. Are you Keller Williams?
Yes.
I like, I didn't talk to Keller, but Williams, a very nice guy, and I like him a lot. And I think the first thing is you got to have a business proposition. You got to find people who aren't, you know what hot money means in investment? A lot of realtors are like hot money. They go wherever you give them a bonus and then they leave. And you got to get someone who's in it for the long haul, number one. Number two, you got to be able to have them appreciate the intangibles. Number three, you got to really, I always thought that the biggest thing was having, and you guys don't really have a lot of marketing support. You got a weird model. It's very good if you can perform, but it's not really good if you need someone to grow you to a higher level. And I think there's a gap there from what I've seen, and you might question that, but I think you got to find ways that you add something to it. One of the things you could do is get them access to a lot of specialists and provided free things that will help them grow their money, saving taxes. I've always done that. I've had distributors who were trying to compete where saving 3% was nothing. In the dental field, for example, one time we hired the top dental CPA, the top financial planner, the top management consultant. We made it free as long as they spent $500 with us, and that was worth a hell of a lot more than saving $30 on their dental supplies. That's one thing. Second, I'll give you an answer to a question you didn't ask. Everybody going out of business, if they didn't screw somebody, they have goodwill with their past clients. Get them to assign those in an endorsement to you guys, because the residual value of the referrals in years to follow could be enormous. We've done that for people. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jay.
Hi. I like your top.
Oh, thank you. If you use the MAVEN principle to help establish yourself as the leader in the industry, then what happens when the MAVEN wants to retire or the MAVEN dies? What strategy do you use so that...
That's a great question. Well, there's three answers. The first answer is you systematically have a strategy to assign your greatness to the whole organization. Second is you can actually make the organization the MAVEN. It doesn't just have to be you. It can be a voice of an organization. I suspect that you can think of a lot of organizations that have still thrived after the leader is no longer there. Number three is if the organization takes the initiatives in the marketplace community to help them, the organization, it's the same thing, but the organization will get all the stature. First thing is if you're not going to get out of it for a while, get yourself stature. But it's like I said about the negotiating. You have total control of your destiny. I believe in catastrophic events. I believe in acts of God or whatever you believe in. But I bet 98% of the time we have control of our destiny. First thing is get yourself stature. Then once you've got it and it's firmly entrenched, then assign it and expand it to the organization, to the products and service. And then to the community. It's just logical. Does that help? Okay.